Hi, I'm Faith McCann, and I'm the host of The Magical Alternative. I'm a teacher of the magical arts, a historian, a writer, an artist, and a witch. I grew up in the country learning the wisdom from the earth. I have practiced the arts and sciences of magic and witchcraft for over 40 years. I've taught at local universities, community colleges, and I've lectured at educational forums for over 25 years. But the Magical Alternative is not simply a show about magic. We here at the Magical Alternative want to offer you a different kind of show, a show without darkness, diversity, or scandal. We want to offer you a show that has educational information, informative information, ideas, different concepts, beliefs, and traditions that you might find interesting, and things that we feel make the world a more beautiful place. I hope you enjoy the Magical Alternative. My name's Faith McCann, and I'm your host of the Magical Alternative. Thanks for visiting us tonight, and thanks for the Magical Alternative Band November Sound. You guys sounded great tonight. Awesome. Good job. And happy Easter. We just had the Easter holiday. I hope you guys had a great holiday, however you celebrate. How did you guys have a good celebration?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Lots of desserts and chocolates.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad. And how about you, Miss Laurel?
It was wonderful. Spent it with the grandkids.
Oh, that's always fun.
Always playing with the grandkids.
Oh, I love it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I had a nice, quiet, nice
And
day.
it was quiet, you know.
Good food.
Saturday we spent with the grandkids. Sunday it was very quiet.
Nice.
So,
I love it. I love it. I hope you guys had a nice holiday too, whether you celebrate or not. Just having a nice, peaceful Sunday is always a blessing. So, wow. So what we are going to be celebrating when this show actually airs on May 1st is a Celtic holiday, which is very ancient, and it's called Beltain. And Beltain, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, you might be familiar with the maypole that you see behind us. That goes back a very, very long time. And the maypole is from Celtic Europe, and it has all sorts of symbolism. But today people will dance around the maypole to bring in the summer season. It's actually the beginning of Celtic summer. It starts May 1st and it goes until November 1st. So we don't wait until the middle of June to start our summer.
Oh, no.
So, and Beltain is Gaelic. It means bright fire. So they tend to light fires on the hilltops, especially in Western Europe, to symbolize the, returning of the sun. Basically, that happens all through the spring holidays, the returning of the sun. They'll light wagon wheels on fire and run them down the hillsides, and all kinds of feasting, lots of feasting in the pagan traditions.
Yeah,
so.
well.
In most traditions, everybody loves to feast.
Everybody loves to feast.
So
why else do you,
Yeah. We did have some questions. We didn't get to the last show we had, and I hope you guys continue to send in questions to the Magical Alt, ALT1818 at gmail.com if you have any questions for us. And one question that was asked recently was about the pentacle.
Dun, 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 dun.
We need some music. The pentacle, where's my camera? If you want to zoom in on this. Trust me, you don't have to look away. Nothing bad's going to happen to you. Relax. We're going to explain to you what you're looking at here. 20 years ago, the day that this airs on May 1st, I opened enchantments in
Yes.
Manchester, Connecticut.
Yeah.
So 20 years.
20 years.
Wow. A lot of stuff happened in the United States over the last 20 years. So the fact that we're still open is really a gift. So, but over the years, I've had everyone from parents to teachers to police officers to people come in all the time. What does this mean? I mean, tell me the truth. A lot of times they're very disappointed because the truth is not what they want to hear. But I will tell you what it means. This symbol has been around for centuries. It's a geometric symbol. It is a 5-pointed star. In modern times, they put a circle around it, and rather than the pentagram, which is the 5-pointed geometric shape, with the circle around it, it's called a pentacle. And it means for us, pagans, Wiccans, really simply, the top apex, the point at the top stands for spirit. Then you have the horizon line, and we have earth, air, fire, water, and that stands for the physical world. And it basically means that we try to put the physical below the spiritual in everything we do. And that's pretty much it. We try to put the spiritual above the physical. You have to eat, you need a roof over your head, you have to have food and clothes and try to stay alive. So the physical is important, but if we can put the spiritual in all things, we try to do that. Not just on Sundays, not just on holidays.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
So, and people are really disappointed sometimes. They want to. Now, yes, there are groups that will use it in an inverted way, but that would be the same as using an inverted cross. It's weird. A lot of times it's teenagers that want to wear it on a t-shirt to tick off their parents, quite frankly. But seriously, that's not how we use it. So if you, as I have been told before, know absolutely that it is a symbol of evil, well, then you worship it differently than we do. If it is not a symbol that you use, and you think that it is something other than what I told you, you're wrong.
Alone. Leave it alone.
I wouldn't come into your house if you were Italian or German or French or Swedish and tell you about your customs, especially if I'm not of your customs, or of your people. So this is what it means for us, and that's what it means. It has no evil connotation. So when you see it, don't freak out. And so other than that, that was the question that we were asked, and I wanted to explain that to you. So I hope that clears up some things. Anyway, thank you very much, and we'll get on with our show. And today we have with us the second part of the fabulous interview from last show with Dr. Jeremy Weiss of the Temple of Miriam, the Prophetess. We also have with us the humor of Colette Pero. The in-house guest tonight is artist and entrepreneur Nate Hansen.
Ooh, excited.
And the awesome music, of course, of November Sound. And of course, my co-host, fellow witch and priestess, Miss Laurel Lady Hawk. So we'll get on with our show, and thank you for watching. Hi, welcome back. And last show, we had our first interview with, the first half of our interview with Dr. Jeremy Weiss of the Temple of Miriam, the Prophetess. Now, me and Miss Laurel are going to sit back and have a little bit of tea while we sit and watch the second half of the interview. Thank you for coming on the show. I have been thinking about you being a guest since the minute they offered me this opportunity. So to start off with, do you remember how we met?
I don't. I was just trying to think of that. And
I do.
You do? I
Yeah.
know that we met online.
Yes,
And
we've never
must
met in
have been-
person.
Right. We've never met on person, but the question, I don't know if it was maybe through the Jewish Magic Festival, or I'm not sure. You are going to have to refresh my memory.
Oh, it was a fun memory. I don't know. Maybe we had some friends in common, but I think you started showing up on my feed, or I started showing up on your feed, and you had put up a photograph of an oil lamp that you had brought back from Jerusalem,
Oh yeah,
and it had some inscriptions on it, and
that's
you, right?
right.
And it you had put on that it was dated first or second century AD. Now I think probably the computer corrected that or something, an error. And I looked at it, and at the time, I had been studying Paleo Hebrew and Aramaic, as
Right,
one does. And and I
right.
contacted you and I said, are you sure it's AD? I think it might be BC. And you were like, oh my God, no, you're absolutely right. It was a typo. And you told me about how you got it. And you were trying to figure out the inscriptions, and you kind of had
That's
said,
right.
yeah. I think I finally figured out, I mean, from my studies, I remember it being like a gift, or maybe being made as a gift for somebody who is getting married. So, but I don't know if we ever had any official big time professor confirm it, but that was really fun. And that's how we met. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I've always been a study of archaeology and history and ancient history. So that was really fun. So, and then right afterwards, you invited me to one of the Jewish festivals, and that was a blast. And I've been a thorn in your side ever since.
I don't think of you as a thorn in my side. I actually think of you
Uh,
as someone who really has helped inspire me over the time we've gotten to get a chance to know each other, and trade. Like, it's very unusual to meet other people who are interested in this,
mm.
in mysticism and the occult, and sort of thinking outside the box spiritually. And so, yeah, and you have your shop, and
Mm.
right. I mean, I think we talked. We just found some level of camaraderie. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it's nice because with the Temple of Miriam, which I love being a part of the Temple of Miriam, the Prophetess, because yeah, you're right. The services you have are wonderful. And then when you want to get in deeper, the library is it reminds me of the Library of Alexandria. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. There's more and more and more. There's so much information in there, not just on Jewish magic. And that's my actually perfect segue into my next question. I've heard more people now. I'm not Jewish. On my mother's side, I was really excited and happy to find out before she passed away that we do have Jewish ancestry. But I've heard people say there's no magic in Judaism. I think a lot of mainstream religions will say that. I think they get scared of it, but I learned a lot different from you, if you wouldn't mind expounding on that a little bit.
Yeah. I so there. Yeah, a lot of Jewish discussion about what qualifies as magic and stuff like that. I mean, and you could expect that from a people who go on about pages and pages and pages about which order to cut your fingernails in, right? So, like, that's if they're talking about pages and pages and pages about quotidian shit like cutting your fingernails. When it comes to magic, they've got lots to say. Okay. And lots of different opinions, and
Yeah.
right. And so, I mean, I think ultimately, you know, what I have found is that over time, studying various religions of the world and various magical practices of the world, magic is what you do, and religion is what I do. Right? What I
Mm.
do is approved, and what
Perfect.
you do is the forbidden,
Mm.
and is the witchcraft. Right?
I
That's it.
love that.
And that is really the definition, the difference between religion and magic. It's really just a way of condescension and othering, because when you say that's their magic, it's perfectly, that's fine, right? I mean, that's a Sufi practice, that's an Islamic practice. That's a hoodoo practice. This is the magic. This is the magic of that people. That should not be insulting. But what has happened is that because in the Abrahamic faiths, this whole idea of witchcraft and certain magics are forbidden and stuff, they all get conflated. And then people don't know the history, and they see a tarot card and they freak out, and they really don't understand that they're freaking out over a card turning over and making a prediction, but they have no problem with flipping a coin and letting God decide who is going to kick the ball at a football game, which is casting lots, right? And so magic comes in acceptable forms, and it comes in forbidden forms, and typically witchcraft is the othering of what those foreigners do, those other people. They do the forbidden magic because it's forbidden intrinsically, because it's not part of our religion, right? So it's them and us. So we're practicing the good stuff, the righteousness, the religion, and they're practicing the evil, the forbidden magic, the other religion. So it's and then there's a little bit of difference, like rabbis tried to get in, say, well, yeah, and some of them snuck in there and said, well, maybe it's the arrogance of magic, like it's not actually through you. You have to give the credit to God, the divinity, and that sort of kind of conflated things a little bit about like what the definition is. And because ultimately there's zero difference between you asking an approved deity, approved by you, Yahweh, right, to let little Johnny pass his test tomorrow. Perfectly acceptable. But why is it if I ask Satan, another deity, or Hecate, or Zeus, that to ask little Johnny to win the race tomorrow, that all of a sudden, whoa, that's a spell. There's only one change there, and the change is that it's the forbidden deity, right? Or that the deity is completely left out, and it's just you, right? So that is where the Jewish people started to differentiate between forbidden magic and permitted magic, whether or not you were the source or the divine was the source working through another, right? Moses got shut out of going into the land of Canaan because he yanked, to the staff, and he didn't attribute it to the power of God. Everybody thought he took credit. Meanwhile, he's also considered to be the most humble person in the whole universe to ever exist in Jewish folklore. So there you go.
There was an awful lot of magic with Moses and all through the Old Testament. And
listen, if you walk up to waters and you do the thing, and I don't care who you're praying to, if it's Beelzebub or whatever, the waters part, that's magic, okay? It's not normal. It's not normal. Okay, that is magic.
And when you were so kind as to invite everyone to Passover Seder, and you explained everything from the traditional viewpoint, and so much of it had a lot of ancient magical, what we would have called magic, that's now been kind of sanitized into religious tradition, but still it's really beautiful and it is magical. So
yeah, making a wish and blowing out a birthday candle.
Exactly.
Come on. I mean, pulling off the petals of a daisy to do a divination. Does he love me? Does he not?
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
picking up one of those little puffy little things, the dandelions, and
Oh, yeah.
making a wish and blowing it. It's magic,
Yeah.
man.
We do it all the time. People don't even
Saying-
realize.
Saying God bless you after someone sneezes is a counter spell. It's a counter spell so they won't lose their soul through their nose.
I love your explanation about how the old belief was you shouldn't do magic, but the 36, oh, that's it. Yeah, I love it. Could you explain how the 36 and how it ends up that you might have to do it if you don't know, if you are, and you say it so much better than me, if you wouldn't mind explaining this audience, please.
It is a wonderful, one of these very beautiful paradoxes, which you learn to tolerate when you study Judaism. The study of Judaism is really the study of learning to tolerate paradox in your life, and that light can be both a particle and a wave depending on the circumstances. So there are let's start with Jewish numerology. There's the word chai for life calculates to 18. It has a numerical association. And 18 is considered the most auspicious, one of the most auspicious numbers because it represents the substance of life. And you see many Jews carry a chai as an amulet, and it's for good luck, good life, protection. And we even, when we drink, we say l'chaim, which means to life. And you have Kabbalists named Chaim Vital, which means, life. And so it's a name. It's a big. Chaim is a big. Chai is a big concept. Okay, and it's represented by 18. And it turns out that there is a belief in the if you double the number 18, you get 36, and there's a belief of 36, which the number is called Lamed Vav. That stands for 36, and there are 36 people, Lamed Vavniks, okay, and at any given point in time, who are tzaddikim, and these are righteous people who walk the earth and can correct rights and errors, set things straight, so to speak. And they are anonymous. If you come across and identify a tzaddik, you're not allowed to out them. Okay. And tzaddiks actually themselves are so humble that they themselves deny that they are tzaddiks. They couldn't possibly believe that they are a tzaddik. And when one dies, another takes its place, and eventually the Messiah will be chosen among these 36 tzaddikim. But they're walking around, and they do righteous things, and they come in and correct. They step out from the darkness, and they correct the wrong, and then they recede back because they don't want to necessarily have any credit. So you may not be aware of the actions of a tzaddik that is working on your behalf. It's possible, of course, they will deny that they are a tzaddik if you question them, because they themselves won't believe that they are a tzaddik. So you could be a tzaddik and not even know it, right? Because you don't know who they are, and they deny themselves. And then there's another concept called an Iber, and that is the spiritual remnants, the ghost say, or spirit of a holy ancestor. And that has the potential to occupy a person's body and work through that person, perform a magical act, correct the wrong that needs to be righted, and then disinhabit the human being and go back and merge with the Holy of Holies into the celestial realm. So that's possession by an Iber. So so anybody therefore could be a tzaddik, and that means, or an angel actually, and therefore you should approach each person in the world as if they are and could be a tzaddik. And
So they don't have to be Jewish.
They don't have to be Jewish at all. They could an Iber could choose to occupy whatever it wants, and a tzaddik can take whatever form they want. So so you should treat everybody with kindness and respect. It could be that undomiciled person that you just walked past, not even thinking about them, because as far as you're concerned, they're an inanimate object like a bush. Or they could be your daughter or your mother, and at any time they could be none of the above or all the above. So be nice and be aware. That's important.
Now the tzaddiks need to know the magic to do.
Well, that was my feeling. Like, my feeling is that, well, these tzaddikim are righteous people, and righteous people, I think, would want to learn how to perform theurgic, magical rituals properly, effectively. All right. So it's only the responsible thing to do. It's like we're gonna throw you into driving. You got to take a few driving classes, like, in case you could be. Maybe you're not a driver. Maybe you're never going to be a professional driver. But it's a skill that you should learn if you're going to be a good one. So it's only responsible thing to do as a tzaddik, because you don't want to accidentally blow something up, right? So there's no harm in studying these ways, right? There's no harm in studying these methods. That's why they're written down. The tzaddiks themselves wrote them down. Isaac Luria and mostly Chaim Vital wrote them down, and they're accepted to be tzaddiks. The Baal Shem Tov, he's the founder of Hasidic Judaism, tzaddik. Okay, fought werewolves, turned invisible, could shorten distances and travel across huge distances instantaneously, like teleportation and bend space and time. He could protect whole villages from calamity and plague.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I wanted to be the superhero, and they were busy telling me, well, you should study the Baal Shem Tov. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't, as a kid, doesn't sound like Superman, Baal Shem Tov. That's no good. He doesn't have that snap like Spider-Man does,
So what would you tell a kid that age today if they came up to you and said the same thing to you?
I would tell them that we do have our magics, like every culture has our magic. And I would show them. And I would explain to them that to bless something, to bless a person, is a magical act, right? It's a conveyance of good wishes upon them. And everybody is empowered to bless people. And everybody's empowered to curse people too. So watch what you say.
That's right. That's right. I love it.
Well, that was wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Jeremy. And we look forward to having you back again.
We love Dr. Jeremy.
He's amazing. He really is.
He's funny.
If you're interested in finding out more about the Temple of Miriam the Prophetess, please check out templeofmiriamtheprophetess.com online. Thank you. And welcome back to the Magical Alternative. And tonight we have a guest in the studio, which is so exciting. Our first guest, we've had comedians, which are super amazing. And we have a really great comedian coming up in a little while. And tonight our first guest is going to be Nate Hansen. So welcome, Nate. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Great.
It's great to be on the show.
Yes, great having.
Well, Nate came to me through a roundabout way. My husband actually said sent me your Facebook page, which is, it's like, what? But he's like, I know you're looking for people that you might want to interview on your show, and you are a muralist. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, sure. Artist, muralist. I do many different facets of art, but in town in Manchester, I've been trying to get some murals up over the past few years, and sits on the corner of Broad Street and Hilliard Street in Manchester.
And they let you do this. Did they charge you? You do this for free, you told me?
They let me do it. That's sure right.
That's
no,
awesome.
I've had my eye on this wall in town for some time, and I reached out to Pete about putting a mural up, and
It's beautiful. I was just going to say, it just didn't appear one night overnight, did it?
yeah, it took a couple weeks
Did it?
to get it done, and
It's
yeah,
really beautiful. And we'll have a picture of it here. It took a couple weeks to do that.
a lot of the reason actually why the mural is an image of a Van Gogh is that I did not get paid for this mural. I took no money from him to do what I wanted to do in the neighborhood, basically. And he kept wanting to change it and have a lot of input. And basically, I didn't even end up signing the mural. He didn't pay me for it or anything. I just put it up there. I'm doing this mural for the town. I'm doing this mural for your business. I'm doing this mural for my own exposure, basically. And this was an image that would look good in the town. Public art here was maybe an opportunity to have, kids drive by and see a Van Gogh and say, get a little art history, in town. That's, there's a lot stuck in this mural. It's a wall that I like.
Most people have to go to a museum to see something like that.
Absolutely, but not only that, kids or even people will drive by and they'll see it and they'll be like, wow, that's actually really beautiful, I grew up in Manchester, that's where I grew up, and
it's nice. There's a lot of murals that are getting brought to Manchester recently through different organizations, and this is kind of myself throwing my arms up in the air and saying, I'm here, I've been here, like, let's not hire everyone else, let's get some local stuff up, because we're here, we're in town.
Part of the mural organizations that are there, you're just an independent?
Correct. I'm not a part of any other Connecticut mural organizations.
Well, from what you've already told me, you didn't get paid, you're not part of another organization, so you're a true artist.
And I'm looking to do more. Well, I don't think that true artists shouldn't get paid. That's not what I said.
No, but
I think it's a giving back to the town, It's a giving back to the town in a way that I see is cool.
But the artists of Van Gogh, Monet's, those days, a lot of them didn't get paid or didn't get the recognition.
Well, Van Gogh certainly didn't get paid a lot.
No. And some of them that did get paid, they were, paid, pennies
No one
compared
knew
to
his
what.
name until he was gone. But this neighborhood in town is special to me. It's sort of where I'm from, and I want to do some more murals in that area. I'm actually already talking with the land trust owners. I'm going to do one on a building that's on the rail trail that kind of cuts down towards Hilliard Street there.
Okay.
It's a big, long building that, again, the town's concerned because people are hitting it with their own tags and they think that that's unsightly. And, whatever your perspective is on that,
if
I want
you're
the
able
whole
to
thing
do this, tag away. That's incredible.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Now, if
there's
it's-
multiple points of view on it. I mean,
Well, there's some that's
cool buildings.
just, spray paint. That's just, again, it's artist subjective.
A lot of it's a statement.
It's what you're looking at,
For me, my statement with it is that I want to see some colors on the walls in my own neighborhood. There's a lot of statements that can be made with it. A lot of statements. Like
That's
in,
true.
just lately, a building in Hartford got put these massive tags all over it. And I think that's fantastic, despite what anyone else wants to say. And that's coming off of this building that got done in Los Angeles, and that's coming off of a building that got done in Miami just this December, where it's bringing light to buildings that are useless. I mean, you've got there's no housing, there's no businesses. This building's been empty, sitting for years and years and years right off the highway. And only now people are talking about it. The activists have come and put their mark on it, you know.
Right, that's a good
So
point.
there's a lot to be said about this
You're
sort of
right.
thing.
You could do a mural like this, or it could be something like a Pollock, and people would lose their minds because it's just all,
Yeah.
it's like, what is that? So,
But to me, it's my neighborhood, and I'm just trying to make
Yeah.
people that drive by, brighten up their day a little bit. And
stopped me in my tracks when I was driving by. After you first did it, I swear I almost had an accident. I was like, what? It's like, my goodness.
well, thanks.
It was
That's what
beautiful.
we're hoping for.
Yeah, well, hopefully not
Not
accidents.
the accident, but
it's right at an
people to see it.
intersection where four-way stop, which is safe, but really beautiful, very, very beautiful. So, do you have other ones in town already? Or?
in town, no. This was
But you're-
this was the card. This was the calling card, and I'm begging town to give me more walls. I've got this other one off the middle street. Like I said, I'm working with the land trust, which is cool. There's a garden center in town that I'm good friends with, that they're going to let me get a spot on one of their barns. So you have a few more to look forward to. They're all in the same neighborhood.
Good.
North
And
end
are
of
they
town.
planning on paying you, or?
Me reaching out, especially through Facebook, a lot of it is just, this is my way of giving back to the town in a lot of ways. If people have their own requests, they certainly welcome to reach out, and we're definitely able to talk payment on those sorts of terms, if people want the requests. But if it's going to be my art, and if it's going to be my, saying, not that this is my art, this is clearly an image that I didn't create.
Wow.
It's putting up some public art I
There
just made,
really
but
is a whole.
I want to be able to choose what I put out if I'm going to be doing it
I
for,
see what
for
you
no
mean.
payment. If that
And
makes
I
sense.
have seen a lot of really talented artists replicating really great artists from the past, which I think is really amazing, or teaching it in classes and stuff like that, because if you can replicate the greats, I mean, that's just such a talent, and of course your own work has got to be amazing.
And when I put it out it was 2 springs ago, when I
Yeah.
put this one in particular out, it was right when all the irises in town were blooming, and it's just kind of a nice
The
image
tulips
that I
and-
like, but also a statement in its own way.
Yeah. It's just beautiful.
But yeah.
Very good. And I noticed, I looked at your Facebook page, you also have a company, Corn Skateboards.
Yeah, my
How-
skateboards.
Merging the physical with the digital, that fascinates me. What is that all about?
What we were
really
referencing
quick.
there was an attempt to merge my skateboards with a Web3 thing. But my skateboards are painted. They're all
They have a lot of corn.
they're corn themed
Corn-themed,
skateboards. If you
yeah.
can picture the shape of a skateboard and then also think of the shape of a corn cob, it
It's
starts to make
amazing.
sense.
Yeah. Okay. So you just like corn, or you like skateboards, or both, or?
Both. I've been skateboarding my whole life.
Okay.
The corn image came to me when I was in high school, believe it or not,
Really?
and I've just been doing it ever since. People like it. People tend to gravitate towards it. It's very colorful. People
Yeah.
know what it is
Yeah.
instantly. It's
Yeah.
kind of
That's
certain
excellent.
style of pop art, but I guess the corn utilizes the hexagram. You've got
Yes.
the pentacle, but mine has the hexagram
Yeah.
all over it.
And it's
Fun and like a lot of nature. That's sort
well,
of
and it uses the Fibonacci
the inspiration
code.
here.
So if you're going to bring in the Fibonacci code, that's with the corn, and that's also with the pentacle.
Yeah, and the
So,
Aztecs got it.
very cool, very cool. Well, Nate, it was so nice to have you here. It was great talking
Cheers,
with you.
yeah.
Thanks for coming on The Magical Alternative, and I hope if you're interested, you check out Nate Hansen on Facebook, located in Manchester, Connecticut. He's got some really beautiful art, and thank you again for coming to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. All right. Great, thank you.
Here I stand, here I wait. I fold my hands in front of my face. Absorb the sun, absorb the rain. life gets hard, but I absorb the pain. Why do we do the things we do? Why do we wait? What do I wait? Why do I wait for memories of you? Why do wish I could say I did it all for you? But I don't know. There's still a long way to go, a long way to go. I reach out, I stand tall, I wanna shout, don't wanna fall. Absorb the wind, absorb the rain. Time moves on, but I remain. Why do we do the things we do? Why do I wait? What do I wait? Why do I wait for memories of you? Why do wish I could say I did it all for you? But I don't know. There's still a long way to go, a long way to go. You said that you'd always be with me, but I don't know, I just don't know. You said that you'd always be with me, but I don't know, there's such a long way to go. A long, long way to go. A long way to go. Still I wait. What do I wait? Why do I wait on memories of you? There's such a long way to go. Wish I could say I did it all for you. A long, long way to go. A long way to go.
And we're back, and welcome. Tonight I'm so excited to introduce you. You might have seen her at the Funny Bone or a Funny Bone near you. I'm very excited to introduce you to the funny humor of Colette Pero.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Before we got started though, did anyone get an airdrop from me? No, on their phone? Who am I sending my tasteful nudes to? Oh, jeez. I'll figure that out later. My name is Colette. That's 2 L's, 2 T's, 2 E's, a C and an O, but not in that order. You can Wordle it if you like, but I obviously don't play Wordle because I don't know if that's how you play it. That's it. I have an interesting name. I do. Thank you, Mom. And the name Colette, it's weird, it's different, it's unique sort of, but some things sometimes happen. If you've ever watched Wheel of Fortune, the travel agency that exclusively gives out prizes is called Colette Travels. And in my house, that's conflicting because I hear my name by another woman being called, and she's giving away trips to Barbados. All right, and I want to go to Barbados. Yeah. A little about me. I'm a disabled veteran, and that's an odd thing sometimes. People look at you. I mean, I look sort of normal. I think I don't look like I'm gonna go off the deep end, hopefully. But they just sometimes people, and it's tough for me too, okay? Because I look at myself a little bit differently. For instance, I am not 100% disabled. I am 70% disabled. So in accordance with that, I'm now looking for some part-time work that only requires 30% effort. I figure that's fair. Maybe I'll go into politics. I don't know. Anyways. Yeah. But career counselors like to tell you, though, you're in charge of your destiny. I don't remember ever applying for that position. So I'm not quite sure so that's a lot of pressure. Especially since I'm a little awkward sometimes. I am. I tend to look kind of like a high school gym teacher. I'm a 41-year-old lesbian, and I do understand that I'm one whistle around the neck from administering a presidential fit test. I'm one windbreaker away from reffing your kid's soccer game. And that's okay. That's okay, because I know, sometimes I look like Miss Piggy went to boot camp. Yeah, Miss Piggy maybe joined the local laborers, chapter 422. And yes, I do have a wonderful relationship with Home Depot. If they had a platinum card, I would have it. I would have it. I would. I get asked all the time, can I help people at Home Depot? I just walk away. I walk away. I don't have time for that. But another thing that kind of is tough for me is dressing sometimes. I think I look okay today, but I have a hard time with this. And that's because I find the queer community has it easier these days than when I grew up. Because when I grew up, I didn't have things like Stitch Fix. For instance, you can tell Stitch Fix how butch you are, and the appropriate level of Carhartt will just show up at your house in 2 to 3 business days. It's incredible. It's incredible. And I know what you're thinking. I do. She's a lesbian and a veteran, but don't worry. I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop. But I do go to the VA for my health care, which is, it's interesting. Going to the VA is interesting because it's almost like the Kirkland signature of healthcare. Like the colonoscopy is going to find exactly what it needs to find, but it just isn't quite as smooth as other healthcare. It's a little rougher. These days, I am getting older, so I have to get certain things. Like my therapist said, I should get a pill sorter because they want me to be organized and well medicated. I'm just kidding. I'm off pills. I'm purely on coping skills now, so good luck to all of you. Yeah. Speaking of pill bottles, though, I enjoy recreational marijuana, as a lot of folks do. But I find sometimes that older individuals that, let's just say, elderly folks, when they give me weed in a pill bottle, I am constantly wondering, am I smoking Viagra? I don't really know what's going to happen to me if I do, but maybe I'll find out. I appreciate certain things as I'm getting older. For instance, I'm getting a mammogram the other day. And, I really like when the person that does your mammogram is just friendly, pleasant. Because there's really nothing worse than getting your titties manhandled by someone that's just in it for a paycheck. This just makes me feel like a piece of meat. Yeah. So here's something that was a bit gender affirming for me the other day. Shaving my legs to go to acupuncture. Yeah. I want to help this guy. I want him to be able to see the forest through the trees so he can stab my stumps, I guess. I don't know. And I love going to acupuncture. I love that it actually does feel like I have energy moving around. And that's not a joke. It's just wonderful. I recommend acupuncture. It's a great form of Eastern, Western medicine. Is it Eastern or Western? Geez, I was in the Navy. I should know my directions. God, who let me going in the military? I don't know. But my wife, let's talk about my wife for a minute. She loves when I do that. My wife doesn't laugh at my jokes as much. She's my best critic. And I love that because when I do get her to laugh, I know it's good. For instance, was driving down the street the other day and I saw a street sign that said thickly settled. And I turned around and I said, that's how I describe my thighs. She's funny though, because she takes care of me in a way that's almost like there's some sort of psychological aspect to it. She knows what she's doing, because I consider myself like a sports lesbian, right? So I love sports. So she'll ask, like, is the game on? And she'll put the game on. I'm like, oh, yeah, you want to watch the game? Oh, okay. There'll be snacks, and, I'll be watching the game, content. And next thing I know, she's been gone for like an hour. I'm like, wait a minute. Where'd she go? She took a nap. She put me down with snacks and a game, and she went and took a nap. She's smart. She is, yeah. And like I said, I call myself a sports lesbian, right? So what does that mean? That means that I love sports. I don't play them, but I love them. I can give you the starting lineup for the Yukon Huskies any given night, right? Women's and men. But I get asked this at mics when I do comedy, like, well, what does that mean, a sports lesbian? You get good gas mileage? And I'm like, no. See, I'm more like an old Volvo station wagon. I'm not always that much to look at, but I'm pretty sturdy. Not the best gas mileage, but I got a whole lot of junk in the trunk for you. A lot of room for junk in the trunk. Yeah. So this is another thing that happened the other day to me. So you get older and less concerned about your body. And when you're with someone, my wife and I have been together 8 years, you're not quite as self-conscious. And I was moving around the bed to have bed time. And I tripped on the corner of the bed a little, and I caught myself, but my boobs slapped. Now, normally this would be something very humiliating. You'd be mortified. But my wife and I laid there for about 10 minutes just dying at the fact that I get a one-clap roast when I move too fast. Yeah. Speaking of hand gestures and lesbianism, so I'll leave you with this. I saw another lesbian in the wild the other day at Tractor Supply, surprise, right? And I gave the lesbian bat code signal, if you will. If you've never heard of this, okay, this is what this is. So you know how motorcyclists, when they're going down the road and they see each other passing, they give a little hand wave like this. Yeah, exactly. Lesbians do the same thing, except for we stick out 2 fingers and we give it a little wiggle. And if you've ever seen 2 lesbians on motorcycles giving each other a little wiggle, you just stumbled into a gay pride parade. Thank you, everybody. My name is Colette.
Very good. And that has been our show today. I would like to thank Dr. Jeremy Weiss from the Temple of Miriam the Prophetess, the humor of amazing comedian Colette Pero,
Yay.
the incredible artist and entrepreneur Nate Hansen, the wonderful and super awesome music of November Sound, and of course, you, my dear.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
And thank you. And I'd also like to thank the entire crew of the Magical Alternative Show and everyone here at CVC Bolton Public Access, that's Community Voice Channel in Bolton, Connecticut, and Roku and Fire TV, and you can find us there as well as on YouTube. If you'd like to create your own television show, contact your local public access TV station, studio, and they'll be happy to tell you how you can do it. Remember, if you dream a dream alone, it's only a dream. If you dream a dream together, it's a reality. And that is a wonderful quote by the great John Lennon. Thank you, everyone. Have a great, been a great show. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.